A way to alleviate suffering.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the...
What do you mean, alleviate the situation?
Welcome everyone to this Talk Word Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today. So, have you ever had one of those days where you're just carrying a massive, incredibly heavy backpack up a really steep hill? You know the feeling, right? Your shoulders are completely aching, your back is totally strained, and you feel like you literally just can't take another step. Or, hey, maybe it's not a physical backpack at all. Maybe it's a looming deadline at work, a really difficult exam you're prepping for, or just a stressful situation that's weighing heavily on your mind. Look, we all experience these burdens, right? These heavy loads that we carry around with us in our day-to-day lives, it's a completely universal human experience. But as English learners, how do we accurately and, quite frankly, beautifully express the feeling of making that burden lighter? Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to actively think about that exact moment you finally take that heavy backpack off, or the moment you hand in that crazy difficult exam. Take a second and ask yourself, how do you articulate that specific feeling of relief? What words actually come to your mind? Now, you might think of words like help, or fix, or maybe reduce. And don't get me wrong, those are perfectly fine words, but they don't quite capture the specific nuance of lifting a heavy pressure, or making a severe suffering more bearable. We really need a precise vocabulary word that acts as the ultimate problem solver for a heavy load.
Section 1. What does alleviate mean?
We are going to break down a word today that will instantly elevate your English, making you sound way more fluent, precise, and highly articulate. It's an absolute favorite in professional environments, but also in everyday conversations when we're talking about solving problems. The word is alleviate. To alleviate means to make suffering, a deficiency, or a problem less severe. Now, notice here that it doesn't necessarily mean to completely cure or entirely eliminate the problem. That is a really important distinction. Think about it like this. If you have a broken arm, a painkiller doesn't magically heal the bone, right? But it does take away that sharp pain. So the absolute crucial point here is that alleviating something means you're dialing down the intensity. You are making it manageable. You're providing meaningful relief. Let's practice a pronunciation together real quick. It has 4 syllables, and the stress is right there on the second syllable. Alleviate. Try saying it out loud right now wherever you are. Alleviate. Brilliant.
Section 2. The origins of alleviate. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it shows us exactly where this word came from. I firmly believe that if you understand where a word originates, you'll literally never forget what it means. Words are kind of like ancient artifacts, and when we brush away the dust, we find these incredible, vivid pictures that lock the meaning right into our brains. The modern English word alleviate comes from the late Latin word alleviare. This is made up of the prefix ad, which means to, and the verb levare, which means to lift or to lighten. At the very heart of this word is the Latin root levis, meaning light in weight. Think about some other common English words that share this exact same root. An elevator lifts you up to a higher floor. To levitate means to float lightly in the air. A lever is a tool that helps you lift something incredibly heavy. Every single one of these shares that core concept of lifting up and taking away heaviness. So every time you use the word alleviate, I want you to visualize that tactile physical action of literally lifting a heavy weight off someone's shoulders. You're lightening their load, just like taking off that heavy backpack we talked about earlier.
Section 3. Real-world usage. So words don't just live in dictionaries, right? They breathe and they work for us in real-world conversations. Just knowing the definition is really only half the battle. The real magic happens when you know exactly how to deploy this word confidently in a sentence. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer versatility of the word across 3 completely different contexts. First, let's look at physical pain. You might say, she took a mild painkiller to alleviate her headache. Again, it didn't instantly cure the headache, but it made the pain less severe so she could actually get through her day. Second, mental stress. Listening to classical music helps to alleviate his anxiety before a big presentation. The music is basically acting as a calming agent that lightens his emotional burden. Third, zooming all the way out to a global scale, we use it for complex societal issues. The government introduced new community programs to help alleviate poverty in the region. Obviously, it doesn't mean poverty just vanished overnight, but the severity of the suffering was definitely reduced. Whether it's a personal headache or a massive global challenge, alleviate is the absolute perfect word to describe the process of bringing relief. Section 4. The Talk Word Companion App.
Now that you have completely mastered alleviate, where do you go from here? As focused learners, I know you want to keep building your vocabulary efficiently and effectively. Reading definitions is great and all, but actually immersing yourself in the context and the story of a word is what truly creates that lasting fluency. And that is exactly why we built a really powerful tool specifically designed for your communication journey. Let me officially introduce you to the TalkWord Companion app. It is incredibly simple to use, and it completely transforms how you acquire new language. Step 1, just download TalkWord on your device. Step 2, search for absolutely any English word you encounter, whether you're reading, watching TV, or listening to someone speak. Step 3, hit play and listen to immersive, high-quality podcast-style audio explainers exactly like the one we are doing right now for that specific word. It is literally like having an enthusiastic English teacher right in your pocket ready to break down complex vocabulary into accessible, engaging, and highly memorable lessons anytime you want.
Every single word you learn is a brand new tool in your toolbox, empowering you to express yourself with way greater clarity and confidence. You've successfully unpacked Alleviate today, and I promise you, your communication skills are already stronger for it. But the English language is vast, it's rich, and it's full of incredible words just waiting to be discovered. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. As you step out into the world today, what burden of misunderstanding will you lift? What English word will you conquer next? Be sure to download TalkWord, dive right into your next audio explainer, and let's just keep learning together. Catch you next time.